Hey, happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to the Friday Five. And it is my pleasure to introduce you today, maybe for the first time or maybe for the 1,000th time, 5 Minutes with Phil. Thank you so much for our Friday edition of this little podcast that we do to help get your day going. In fact, why don't I remind you today that you could always stay connected with 5 Minutes with Phil. Did you know that? We've got a Facebook page, for example, that is nothing but 5 Minutes with Phil. And if you go to Facebook and you search for 5 Minutes with Phil, you're going to find every single episode that we have ever aired with this little thing. And you could always stay in touch. You could share it, comment on it, whatever you need to do. Also, our church has a YouTube page that has 5 Minutes with Phil. And you can go to that page and you can like, you can subscribe, you can ring the little bell, and that'll give you notifications every time we put something brand new up on the page. And that can include 5 Minutes with Phil, include messages, services. We live stream every service. We've got music on there. We've got reels of me preaching or reels of some of our music. There's all kinds of stuff. So take advantage of that. Subscribe to it. Share it. Whatever you need to do. If we can bless you and or somebody that you care about, that is a huge win for us. And I mean that sincerely. Now, let's jump into today's scripture, okay? We are in the book of Isaiah. Isaiah chapter 65, verse 24, and this is a great verse as it pertains to our prayers and to our prayer life. It's a great verse for us to keep in mind whenever we come to the Lord in prayer. I want to share that with you today. Take a look at this. Here's what it says. Before they call, I will answer. While they are still speaking, I will hear. Now that's a pretty powerful verse talking about our prayers that we give to the Lord. I'm going to start with the second half, because the second half of that verse says, while we're still speaking to the Lord, He'll hear us. He listens. You know what? Isn't that really awesome to know that whenever I go to the Lord in prayer, I have His attention. I have His ear right away. And He is very much concerned and very much involved in the things that concern me, those things that are on my mind. And I want you to know that the moment that you begin to pray, God hears you. God's listening to you. And He cares very much about what you're praying about and why you're doing so. And that may encourage somebody here today to know that before you're even done praying, God has heard you. But let's look at the first half of that verse again. It says, before they call, I will answer. You know what's really cool? Now, here's what this verse does not do. This verse does not negate the power of our prayers or the purposes in our prayers. We still need to pray. Okay, we still need to pray because God has chosen prayer to see the supernatural collide with the natural. So that's pretty awesome. But God is more at work right now than you would realize. And I think that's important for you to know, that even while you're praying, God's moving. And even while you're asking God to take care of a situation, He's still involved. He's still in on the act. He's got His wheels turning for you. When you're praying for a family situation or a job situation, God's already working that out. God's in the midst of working. If you think that He's kind of waiting and kind of got His arms folded because you didn't pray correctly or you haven't moved Him enough to pray, that's not God at all. Now, you don't have to be a polished speaker in order to get answers to your prayers. Not at all. If anything, God just says, look, just come to me as yourself. Just come to me as yourself, and whatever is on your mind, I'll move and I'll start acting even before you realize it. And maybe somebody needs to know this today, that God is moving before you even realize it. He's active before you even realize it. You see, God sees the big picture. A lot of times we just see the small picture. And so a lot of times we're just like, oh, God, are you really listening to me? Are you really moving? Are you really doing anything about this? And I think the Lord would remind all of us today that, yep, I'm involved, I'm moving, I'm already working. So today, let that be an encouragement to your prayers as you give God whatever it is that you need to give him. Okay? Hey, have a great weekend. All right? We love you. Thanks for joining me. Lord willing, we'll see you next time. Okay? Take care. Bye-bye.